Alright guys, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to flash your Cinnamon Drones Remote ID module with up-to-date firmware. So here's the module here. I've got my little piece of Velcro on it. I'm going to start by carefully opening the module. In order to flash it, there's a little button on this side of the USB port here that you have to press a couple times in order to flash it. So we have to take it out of the case to do that. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to very carefully take the top off this case. There we go. Just be careful. The walls on this case are very thin to make sure it's lightweight. So just be careful as you take it off. All right, I'm gonna set that aside for now. I'm seeing the inside of my module here. I'm gonna take the switch and carefully just pry it up and out. Just make sure it's in the off position. I'm also just gonna pull that out, the battery with it. All right. Next, I'm going to take my GPS module here, and I'm just going to take that guy out. To take it out, this one came out pretty easy. To take it out, you may have to bend the sides out a little bit. Just be careful, try not to pull too hard, so you might crack the case there. So just kind of pull it out. Take GPS module out, looks good. Okay, now the trickiest part is taking this microcontroller out. So we are going to, there's little clips that hold it in place, right? And you can see those clips right there, and on that other side, right there as well. And the trick is just to get one edge of that, the microcontroller out of this clip. So I'm just gonna bend the case out a little bit like that, and take these wires, kind of just gently pull. It may take a little bit more force for yours. Try to just be careful on these wires. You don't want to rip the solder joints off, or you'll have to resolder it. All right, so that's out of the case. Looks good. All right, so here's our little microcontroller. You can see there's a tiny little button right there. We're going to need to press that twice once we plug it into the computer to flash it. All right, so I'm going to get my computer and let's flash this. Okay, so you're also going to need a USB-C device. It can be the same one that you use to charge the module. I'm just going to plug the one end into my computer over here, and I'm going to plug this in to power, just like that. Okay, so now it's on, and it just started up normally, but we need to put it into bootloader mode so that it's ready to flash the firmware. And all we need to do that is just press this tiny little button a couple times. Perfect. And once you press it a couple times, the lights should turn off and everything. You should see on your computer that a USB device, just like a flash drive, pops up on your computer. And we'll switch to my computer screen now. Okay, here I am on my computer, and I'm just going to put it back into bootloader mode, just to show you what it looks like here on the computer. So I'm going to click this little button twice. Missed it. I'm going to try again. There we go. Okay, and after a couple seconds, you'll see that it pops up. Okay, just like a USB drive would. All right, so I'm gonna just open my file explorer, just like that, and I'm gonna navigate to my device. You can see there's just 3 files in it, the current program that's on there, and then there's a couple other files. So you just need to locate your, the firmware file that we sent you. It will be a .uf2 file extension, and it should be the email that we sent to you. And once you locate that file, download it, and all you have to do is click it, drag it over and drop it. I saved mine here to the desktop. Yours is probably in the downloads folder if you just download it from your email. So I'm just going to take that file, drop it on, and it's going to copy itself over on its drive. As soon as it finishes copying, the drive is going to eject itself. You can see it just disappeared from my devices menu over here. So it just ejected itself, and it rebooted and started flashing. Started going with the new firmware. All right, and that's it for the computer side. Let's go back to the module. Okay, now we're here back over at the module. So I'm just gonna disconnect it from my computer. I don't need my computer anymore, so I'm just gonna move it off to the side. All right, okay, so I now have my module with my newly flashed firmware. And you can check it if you want. You can use your third-party remote ID scanner app to check to see what see if the firmware is updated. And if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to us to know what the firmware what the new firmware should look like. But now we just need to reassemble our module and we should be good to go. All right, so here's the little box. I think it's easiest if you just put the microcontroller in first. On some cases, if it was hard to take your GPS module out, you may want to put in your GPS first. Since both came out pretty easily, I'm just gonna go ahead and put the microcontroller in first. So just gotta put it in, line it up with the USB slot there, and then just make sure no wires getting pinched with those clips, and then just push it in, just like that. All right, next the GPS, just make sure that the antenna, this ceramic piece right here, is face down when you put it in like this. In reality, that'll be up. Just gonna give it a push, click, make sure it's all the way down at the bottom. Perfect. Yep. And then put the battery in on top of that. Great. And then the switch. So this is the tricky part when we're putting this case together. So we just want to stick it in that slot, and it should fit pretty tight. Depending on how many times it's been taken on and off, it might come out. You can see that it just kind of wedged in there, and it's kind of just sitting there. This part is very careful. You don't want to try. You want to try not to move too quickly so that the switch dislodges. And I'm just gonna put the case on nice and gently like that. Just lock that switch in there so it can't move. And then I'm just gonna close it up. All right, there it is. There's my case, my module, new flash firmware. I'm just gonna turn it on, make sure it works. There it goes. All right, looks good. All right, so that's how you flash your firmware onto your Cinnamon Drones Remote ID module. As always, if you have any questions, please reach out to us. We're more than happy to walk you through, help you with any troubles you might run into. And that's it. Happy flying.